Welcome back, viewers. Mr. Ebert, to me, there are three main issues in Fort Bend County. One is transportation issue, another is public sector hospital issue, and the third one is higher education issue, so the facilities of it. So the first one, what do you think Houston has largely doesn't have any proper transportation, public transportation system? Why it is so? Is there any effort going on to build and to revive that system?
I really can't speak for the Houston metro system because that's Houston and Harris County primarily. We only have two communities, Stafford and Missouri City, are participants in metro. The remainder of the county is not, so we're just outside metro service area. But obviously there is a need to have an ongoing effort to improve the quality of transportation for several reasons. One is...
is there any political reason also? Is there any political reason?
A particular reason for
not
action?
Introducing this metro system?
Well, I think there's been a political fight in Harris County over whether to use bus or rail, and they actually had an election on that a year ago, and the voters overwhelmingly said they wanted a bus system. Well, Metro had been putting a rail system in and focused on doing rail. Well, when you have to go from putting in a rail system and change, they can finish up the projects they had started, but now they have to figure out how to create a bus system of a level of size and efficiency to truly serve this metropolitan area of 5.5 to 6 million people. And that's a large undertaking. So right now I think, I saw an article just a week or so ago where Metro is considering building dedicated bus lanes so they can move from the outskirts into town and back and forth. Sort of like rail or the subway, but without rail or the subway. And that's the issue you have. There's not been a single strategy for solving the transportation issue in the greater Houston area that's been accepted by all the various stakeholders. And until they come together and agree, there won't be a lot of progress. And in Fort Bend, we sort of sit on the outside of that issue. Yes, it does impact us long term, but in short term, no project that Metro would start would be in Fort Bend.
There is also another general perception. This is also a perception that there are two groups, two mafias. One is motor dealership mafia, and another is insurance mafias. They are behind this. They are the main hindrance in the way of.
I wouldn't try and speak to that. I think there are a lot more groups than that are arguing various aspects of the issue. And exactly who's pulling the string at any given time, I don't know. But we do have in Fort Bend County a transportation system, and we need to make more people aware of that. We run a commuter service to the Galleria, to Greenway Plaza, and to the Texas Medical Center from Sugar Land and from Richmond Rosenberg on a daily basis. We also have in the county for seniors, low income folks with that have needs and don't have a car or easy transportation. We have a demand bus service. You can call our transportation office and schedule a pickup at your home to go to the doctor, to go to the store, and we will actually, if you meet the qualifications, they're very broad, we'll run the bus by and pick you up. And we put that together because we realize that although Fort Bend has a very well-educated adult population, we lead the state in adults with degrees. We lead the state in adults with graduate degrees. We have a lot of professionals that live out here, and more often now we're seeing that they also work out here, which is a good thing. But we also realize that there's an underserved community that doesn't have the income. A lot of those folks are recent immigrants, and we need to try and put services. We don't have the wherewithal as a county to build a major transportation network. And that takes a special entity dedicated to transportation to do that, such as Metro. But we do have the ability as a county to try and provide these services to maintain a safety net of services for those that truly need it. And that's available now. I would be happy to give you all the phone number, which I don't have on me right now. I don't use the service, but I'd be happy to provide you with that phone number so at a later date you can make that available to folks in the community that might need it. Education is another issue. Again, Stafford, Missouri City, on the east side of the county are members of the Houston Community College District. So the Houston Community College and folks that live in Stafford, Missouri City can attend those colleges and pay in-student tuition. We have the University of Houston Sugar Land, which now has undergraduate, freshman, sophomore courses provided by Wharton Junior College. But all the Wharton Junior College services are outside the taxing district, so you pay out-of-district tuition, which is still less than it would be if you paid University of Houston resident tuition. So it's more than HCC, but it's less than U of H. But there is a difference, and that school is transitioning from the University of Houston Victoria as we speak to become part of the University of Houston downtown main campus, which will raise the level of the education significantly, because once that conversion is over in 4 to 5 years, we will have a Tier 1 university through the University of Houston main campus here in Fort Bend County.
Right. Mr. Haley, there is another problem being faced by in our schools, that is the drug abuse and drug addiction. Apart from law, introducing and making laws, what else has been done and being done in this, to curb this menace?
The school districts in Fort Bend County have police departments that work with the administrators in the schools. They have on-site officers on each campus that will act as liaisons between the school administration and the student in trying to maintain a degree of order. They're not there to be traffic cops. They're not there to pick on the students or to bother them, but they're there to try and show the goodwill of the police department as a friend, as a helper. Now, I will say that they're there to investigate serious crimes, and we have some serious crimes that occur on the campuses. You've focused in on the issue of drugs, and that is a very large and broad issue in the United States. As it pertains to the school districts, we have the belief, and we have seen proof, that these campuses are not completely drug-free. The police go out of their way to try and curb and stop the bringing of drugs into the campuses. From time to time, we have run narcotic sniffing dogs into the schools to try to do a sting, supposedly, and find narcotics to try and act as a deterrent too. But the real place where the issue of drugs in the schools needs to be addressed is like every other place, in the home. We had a police chief years ago that used to say, we don't have a juvenile problem, or in this case a student problem, we've got a parenting problem. The parents need to lead the way and teach their children in the right way to live their life. And I know it's difficult. We have a lot of single family homes in the greater Houston area, single head homes in the greater Houston area, where a parent is both working and acting as the parent. But they should take heart that what lessons they impart to their children are important, and that they will have a difference in their children's future and the way they look and act in the school. And so I'd say that the parents need to look inwardly and find whether or not they're doing everything they can to guide their children in avoiding, among other things, the bad and very deleterious effect of bringing drugs into schools, and before that even using the drugs.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shahid, ये बताइए कि हमने ये सारी चीज़ें देख ली, हमने इशू को डिस्कस किया, हमने सॉल्यूशन भी देख लिया. क्या समझते हैं कि कम्युनिटी को क्या करना चाहिए? फोर्ट बेंड काउंटी तो चलें, उसमें कम इश्यूज़ हैं आपके बकौल, लेकिन और भी तो काउंटीज़ हैं, और भी तो मसाइल हैं, और भी तो इश्यूज़ हैं. इनको इफ़ेक्टिवली एड्रेस करने के लिए एज ए कम्युनिटी क्या प्रोग्राम के आखिर में हम क्या करना चाहिए?
First of all, community need to be united on the issues. Don't pull the laws or this and that on a one person side. Community have to look the community as the community at large, not an individual basis, not an individual kind of faith or things. Community, we are here. We are American now. We should look the point of America that how we can strong make the country. When the country start, community is strong, the county will start. If we leave the mentality of the divide and rule, that's not going to work over here. Over here is just you are right, you're right. You go vote, you want to change, like Judge and they both were saying you want to change. Why this gentleman is sitting in the 5th term and the 6th is running? Why? Because his ethic, his principle, his ability, and he did the job. So people like him. So that's the whole thing, go to the community. The community should go do the stuff for the community at large and then develop from there. And that's what Developed Nation did. And that's what we're supposed to do. The so many other issues like the community feel like about the bus, about the medical things and whole 9 yards. What's the community's put it? Did they put any proposal to the county judge that in this county we are citizen, hey, we have this idea, you want, nobody ever go? Maybe refuse. Refuse mean is not that there anybody who call you, and I know the who call you about the school drugs and everything. What they do, like DA just said, as a parent, are we educating our children? Are we spending 5 minutes with them? Are we telling them that, hey, what to do? Like he said, we go to job, we can forget about it, 9 or 10 or 5 left, 9 come back, and then Saturday, Sunday we are not there.
Okay.
We don't know where
So
they
this is the
go.
last question. Last question from Mr. Healy and Mr. Ebe. What do you think the South Asian community people have ability and capacity to become a district attorney and the county judge? What do you think?
Certainly.
Certainly.
Certainly. There's a process of assimilation.
Okay.
And we're seeing already the representatives of the Asian community gain membership on city
There is
councils.
no hindrance
There's
by
absolutely-
law.
No hindrance.
Only the political hindrance of, but you've got to get more votes than the other guy. And we have Asian Americans serving on city councils right now in Fort Bend County. There's a very good likelihood in the next 5 to 10 years we're going to see an Asian American elected mayor of one of our eastern cities, and that's a good thing. We think we want everybody to express themselves and to achieve to the maximum of their abilities. Now we can't guarantee that. Governments don't build communities; people build communities. But we try and set up the infrastructure and our services that allow folks to assimilate in their own good time. And we will. We're better at it now than when I took office. I find that my Pakistani friends, my Turkish American friends, my Chinese American friends are much more comfortable at meetings with me now because they know who I am. But it takes time to do that. But there are no restrictions, legal or otherwise. If you're an American citizen and you're of an age to vote and you reside in Fort Bend County, you're eligible to run, except you may have to have a law degree, such as John if you want to be DA, but if you want to run for county judge, all you have to do is want it and sign up, pay the money and get on the ballot. Then you have to get more votes than the others.
So thank you very much, Mr. Shahid.
Thank you, sir, for inviting
Mr.
us.
Haley, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Ebert, thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much for coming
Thank you.
in my show. Viewers, आपने देखा हमने गुफ्तगू की और हमने आज जो मेन जो गवर्नमेंट फंक्शनरीज हैं उनको आपके सामने बिठाया. We have just touched upon some of the issues of the Fort Bend County. We will continue discussing these issues in our next programs. There is a need to, this is the, message and the bottom line of the program is that there is a need to raise the awareness level of, issues and bridge the information and communication gap between the community and the government functionaries relevant. So until then, Khuda Hafiz.